We will call to order the regular city council meeting for Monday, September 8th, 2025. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start, I would just like to say thank you to the Grandview Heights City School District for allowing us to meet here until we were able to meet in the new municipal building. So thank you to the schools. Clerk, if you could please call the roll. Here.
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 Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here. Here. Thank you. Next, we have approval of proceedings. Is there any comments or adjustments, motions?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. That's a motion and a second by council members Kozak and Houston. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? They've been approved. Next, we have comments from visitors. I have one from Miss Martha Moore. If you would like to come up to the podium with your comments, just say your name, your address, and hold on, let me start the timer. We'll have 3 minutes to say your piece. 1 second. Okay, are you ready?
Good evening, Mayor Kearns and council members. I'm Martha J. Moore. I reside at 1631 Roxbury Road in Marble Cliff. So it's been a long time since I've been to a council meeting. But the reason tonight, I would just like to have the council and maybe the head of the Parks and Recreation to look over the application for pool passes as a guest. I had an encounter at the pool. This was late in August. There weren't more than 10 people at the most in the pool. And I noticed there was a family at the entrance having some problems. The mother was having some problems with her phone trying to fill out the application. And this family was from Germany and visiting friends here in Clintonville. And she just couldn't make it work. So I went over to try to help. And she finally, this was around 2 o'clock-ish, and by 3 o'clock, she and her 2 children gained admittance into the pool. And I just was a little, what a wonderful community this is. I've been here since 1967. But I thought maybe I might get a little better help from the staff and maybe the manager at the time. But it was just, since she was a foreigner, filling out the address, and then she couldn't make her credit card work. So I said, okay, put my credit card information so you can get in, and it worked. So by 3 o'clock, she and her family, her daughter and son, were in the pool. But there was a representative from the Parks and Rec there that day, and I didn't seem to get any help from him. But I just would like the city and the rec center maybe review that application. It's not an easy one to fill out. So I thank you for your time. And she made a gesture. She came by the next day with a beautiful card. She did reimburse me the $37 for the pool admittance, plus some German chocolate. But the card struck me very, very deeply. And she said, what a nicer world this would be if we just showed some kindness. So the board in this beautiful community, that's all we need. And thank you, and good night. I'm going home to dinner.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming in and giving us that feedback, so thank you very much. This is the only one I have. Does anyone else wish to speak tonight? No? All right, online comments, I don't think we have any, correct? What's that?
Maggie Herlihy.
For online comments?
Maggie Herlihy.
Oh,
Oh, there
sorry.
was one.
All right, clerk, if you could please read that into the minutes, please?
Yes, Margaret Herlihy, 1899 West 3rd Avenue, Grandview Heights, 43212. The subject of comments was police cars.
Great, thank you very much. All right, moving on, council committee reports, finance,
No report.
planning administration. Oh, sorry, Councilmember Weiss is not here. Recreation services and public facilities,
No meeting, no report.
safety,
Also, no meeting and no report.
thank you. Liaison reports, Grandview Library.
I'll try to go fast, but it's fall, so there's a lot going on. Tickets are going on sale today for the Grandview Library Foundation's annual chocolate walk to be held on October 9th, and more information can be found at ghpl.org/foundation, and they usually sell out fast. I think this is actually something new, but they have a culture pass that the library's culture pass program is enabling card holders to come in and borrow passes that would get them free admission to different cultural and educational and community institutions. And they have a limited amount of passes to borrow, but it will get you into, like, for right now, it's you can get in a family into the Columbus Art Museum for a one-day visit and the National Veterans Memorial. And they're adding new locations and organizations. So you can find out more information about that at ghpl.org/culturepass. 35th Annual Indoor Concert Series begins September 25th in the atrium from 6:30 to 7:30 with singer-songwriter B. Humana with a blend of jazz, flamenco, folk, and classical music all on guitar. Then there's also Celebrate Ohio Authors with an event for adults on Tuesday, September 30th from 6:30 to 7:45. And the Author Soiree hosts suspense thriller author Erin Flanagan and suspense cozy mystery author Patricia Sargent. They kind of whodunits and mysteries. So, and then the last but not least, October 4th from 10 to noon, the City of Grandview Heights and the Parks and Recreation Departments is presenting a Thins That Go event. And that is an opportunity to meet and touch and see up close the fire trucks and the police cruisers and first responders. And also there will be a ghost busting ectomobile as well as bubbles, music, chalk art, and lots of other things for the family. So, sorry, it was a long one.
Great, thank you. Culture Pass is wonderful.
Yeah.
Schools, so once again, thank you to the schools for allowing us to use this space while, until we're able to get into our own space. In addition, school adjacent, the boosters had their annual ox roast this weekend. Beautiful weather, so thank you to all the volunteers and people and visitors who made that possible to raise funds for our schools. Next, we have the chamber.
I attended the Be Your Best Self Conference for the first time on August 28th, and it was a great event, really good panel discussions. And I sat next to Drew Kale, and he's the general manager of the Rail restaurant that's down in the yard. And he was a 15-year resident of Grandview, and his daughter graduated from here 2 years ago. And he was saying what a great community and great schools we have here, and that he wanted to try and partner and give back if he could in the capacity there at the restaurant. And I shared his information with a few people in Parks and Rec and Director Maxwell so that they could make those connections with him. And then we also have there is a monthly luncheon that is on Thursday, September 25th at Cohatch on Lane Avenue, and it's on using your strengths to thrive in the workplace. And this Thursday, September 11th, is the happy hour sponsored by Midsole Marketing, and those are Grandview residents. And it's at Block Fort, a gallery and studio space that's at 162 North 6th Street. And you can sign up for those on the Chamber's website.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Pause. All right, there you go. Planning Commission?
Planning Commission did not meet in September, no report.
Thank you. Coda?
Code Advisory panel met August 19th. Unfortunately, I was out of town, but I did get information on what went on in the meeting. They went over some service changes that were going to occur coming up, but none of them were relevant to any routes in Grandview.
Great, thank you. Morpsey, the biggest thing is the Summit on Sustainability is coming up at the end of this month. I believe we all have put our RSVPs in, and I would encourage anyone in the community who's interested in sustainability to attend this conference if they are able. Lots of great information. Destination Grandview is not here. Sustainable 2050.
Yes, I hope I'm talking into the microphone enough. Okay, so there was a meeting on August 28th, and I was able to attend virtually. The big piece of information to share out is that MORPC is going to be updating the Sustainable 2050 framework to bring it in line with the updated regional sustainability agenda. And they're also interested in working to streamline it a little bit for local governments. So there's gonna be a working group coming together to work to that end. And then all Sustainable 2050 certifications are on pause until that updated framework is available. I did also raise my hand to help with that working group opportunity. And then we heard a presentation as well from the Ohio Environmental Council. One of my colleagues over there spoke alongside John Paul Diaversa on the Central Ohio Sustainable Development Playbook, as well as a presentation on the Central Ohio Climate Action Plan, which was a joint Sustainable Columbus MORPC presentation. May I also ask a question of Councilmember Smith about the CODA update?
Sure.
Councilmember Smith, is the second route of the 75 in our community still on pause? Do you know?
It's still on pause.
Okay.
I think they eventually want, I was told a couple meetings ago that they want to eventually increase, in the morning and the evening back to what it was way back when,
Okay.
but there's still not the ridership.
Okay. And there's not a timeline for that? Is there?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. Everybody ride the bus. 75.
I did.
All right. Thank you very much. Area reports, Mayor Kearns.
Thank you, Madam President. We are grateful to the school district for sharing their space. We look forward to having our own. We do have a date for dedication, ribbon cutting, building tours, and a community event November 18th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the new building. And we are in the midst of a phased move, but that's going well. Some of the team has moved, others are working through, a longer process. And again, we're really looking forward to, and just really grateful to the community for having modern space to operate in. We will be doing a time capsule as part of the dedication and building tours, and this is just kind of an early preview announcement. And more formalized invitation will be going out to the community. Things like personal notes, photographs, memorabilia, news and culture and technology, as is traditional with these events. So we're really looking forward to this. We're excited about it. And really just a note for council, on September 22nd, we've been, working on our branding, making sure everything's clean, and we do want you to get your updated headshot. So we've got an appointment. You should have a letter to that effect. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Maxwell, Director of Administration.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of council. Mayor Kearns covered a lot of the municipal complex updates, so it's exciting news. Staff's very excited. Those of us that have moved already and those of us that will be, it's an exciting time. But on the sustainability front, I did want to provide a couple of updates. The food waste drop-off site, I think I'd shared a report with you in the past, is coming to fruition. We are going to partner with MORPC on promoting that. Plans have come together for a mailer and a 6-week campaign prior to the dedication of the new facility, so that the folks that are aware that it's there will know that it's still there, and we'll hope to attract others as well that'll be coming to the building to see the site. They'll be made well aware of the food waste drop-off location since it's so close to the building. So in partnering with MORPC through some grant funding, we'll be able to send out some mailers and have additional signage and information on our website as well. The Morpsey Sustainability Summit was mentioned. Staff plans to attend as well. We will have some staff presence there as well. And then we continue to participate in the Link Us project, and Councilperson Smith mentioned that in his report. And we just recently submitted a Charging Smart self-assessment application, which is a partnership with Morpsey and others. And we're eagerly awaiting to see how that self-assessment performed. It's a first step in moving towards a Charging Smart process that others in Central Ohio are participating in as well. That's all I have. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Any questions for yes, Councilmember Houston?
Would you say just a little bit more about the Charging Smart and kind of the steps in that process?
So there's a
Director?
self-assessment, as I just mentioned, and then there are different levels that communities can achieve: bronze, silver, and gold. We'll, after the self-assessment, have a better idea of what would be a realistic target. That would be mid-next year is when the the application would be finalized, and then depending on that level, we could strive for something further on down the road.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Mayor Kearns?
Thank you. I forgot to mention that City Hall is still at 1016 Grandview Avenue as far as public service, if there are any questions about that. And again, we will be moving soon, but we are in a phased move, so hopefully that's clear to the public.
And so police fire still up the hill?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, can I have
Yes.
a question? Thank you for highlighting the food waste, the compost drop-off site. With the farmer's market, I reached out to the environmental club here at the high school to ask them to help with some goals we have for being more sustainable at the farmer's market. And so they've been coming. There've been a group of kids who've come the last two markets to collect compost from some of the vendors at the end of the market, and they weren't aware of the compost drop-off site, so I've told them, and they just shared it out on their social media. And then I was going to offer, if somebody from the city ever wanted to come and set up at the farmer's market as a way to have a presence there to let people know about it, you're welcome to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, moving on. Chief, Fire Department.
Good evening. It's been a busy summer. I think the biggest news that the fire department's been working through is we had a long-term retirement after 20 plus years, so we put on a search for a new fire medic. And everybody knows how tough that is to find people nowadays. So we changed our process a little bit. We cast a wide net, and we got back around 60 candidates total, 30 of which were qualified. 14 were lateral transfers, which means they had more than 2 years of full-time experience at a Central Ohio department, and 16 were not. But they met the qualifications of being a paramedic and a firefighter. After our interviews, background investigations, reference checks, and we did panel interviews a little differently this time. We put an hour aside for the interview, and we had a panel of myself and the 3 captains, and then we had a panel of the assistant chief and just 3 rank and file members of the department. And we each ran them through 5 or 6 questions apiece, and then we got together to compare notes. And I think it was a tremendous success, the buy-in we had from our people. I mean, I think there's nothing worse if just a fire chief would sit in his office and hire someone and then say, here's the person you're going to work with for the next 30 years. Take them or leave them. And this worked really, really well. We got all different perspectives. We had everybody involved, and we came up with it turned out he's 20 years old. He'll turn 21 in November. His name's Bryson. He's got 1 year of full-time experience from Franklin Township and Franklin County, and he was our #1 pick from the beginning. He was the first one to put his application in, the first one to respond to all the requests that we've had, jump through all our hoops, had the most enthusiasm. His dad's a 20-year plus veteran in the fire service, and since he came from Franklin Township, he's on the west side. He knows the same hospitals we transport to. He runs with the same battalions with the city of Columbus. He knows our protocol. He knows our reporting software. They use the same one. So he's hit the ground running. We have a period of time that's based on the candidate from when they start to allow them to be eligible for full staffing to be equal to take one of our manpower slots. And he's about halfway through. He's right on target. He's really energetic. Brought him through to the staff, and it's been a great boost for us. Having somebody that young, that aggressive, reaffirming the stuff that we take for granted has just been a great thing for us. So he's started, and we will wait to officially swear him in until we get into the new building. So we're going to come up with a new process to swear him in. I hope we can do it maybe down by the antique in the lobby. Maybe we can take a break if we're all good with it, and maybe swear him in with his family down there, kind of looking at where we came from to where we are now. So that's going to be real exciting. We'll get with you on when we're in the new building. Some of the other big things that have happened since we've met, we did have 2 structure fires in the city since we met. One was a lightning strike, and it was really interesting that the house was having some work done to it, but the lightning strike itself became a key part in the investigation. So for the first time in my career, I had to get with the National Weather Service and Franklin County EMA to document the exact time of the lightning strike, which was, it proved that it wasn't the workers, it was the lightning strike. So extremely interesting investigation that our fire marshal put on. And the other one was an electrical fire. It was some old electrical that needed upgrade. Both went really well. Both were kept to the room of origin because the companies are so close, we can get there so fast. We had first water on both of the fires in a couple minutes, and they were huge successes. Some other things we're working on is we've been working really hard on special events. Somebody mentioned how busy fall is. Fall is busy and summer is busy for Parks and Rec. So we had a lot of big public events. One of the ones that I'm really proud of is that we've worked with Director Maxwell, we've worked with Chief Starnes, we worked with Director Patterson. I think we all agree the Grandview Hop has grown. I mean, when you walk through there, I walked through there with Mr. Panzera, and just seeing the amount of people there, and then seeing 2 of them ago when the weather rolled in. And we noticed that the EAP that's established that the young professionals are supposed to follow and implement didn't really happen. It had been a while since we had a weather event. So we pulled all the city resources together. We've had meetings, we went back to them, we've got it updated. I think we're in really, really good shape now, but I think all of us working together is going to keep that event being really successful, but most importantly, safe. I think when you have that density of people, a couple times it makes me really nervous walking through there, and I know I talked with you about it. So we worked well and got that back in line. The department's continuing all their training. We're sending members to every bit of training we can. One of the interesting things is that you guys know that we're a member of NASTY, which is a Northwest Area Strike Team that was started back in the day just to cover hazmat response. And it was just the Northwest departments. Well, right now, we've been working hard. The NASTY hazmat team that we're a part of is one of the only other Type 1 teams in Central Ohio besides the city of Columbus. So NASTY and the city of Columbus is providing hazmat for all of Franklin County. So that's a really big deal. We've had 3 other counties approach us. Delaware County, Fairfield County, and Licking County have all disbanded their county teams and currently don't have hazmat coverage. And a lot of their departments are smaller departments that can't on their own offer hazmat. So we're trying to work with them to grow. We're trying to continue our training. But I would imagine that there's an opportunity for NASTY to grow a little bit to provide more hazmat coverage. So we're working on that very intently. That's really some of the big things I wanted to highlight. I'm happy to take any questions you all might have for me.
I think that's a wonderful name for the team, Nasty.
I know. And it's not nasty anymore, so we
Right?
I'd love to keep the name.
Is
But
Janet Jackson your theme song?
see, we remember.
Yeah. Are there any questions? Yes.
To that team, do you have a sense, or what's your sense of why some of those other county teams have, dissipated or reduced their size? Is it resources?
Honestly, it is, but it stems from hazmat's one of the things, if you don't have interest in it and you don't train and practice, think about it, we don't use it a lot. But when you use it, it's a big deal. So I think a little bit, I don't want to say complacency, but a lack of need has let people kind of go away. And I think a lot of our older hazmat veterans are retiring. And I think the new incoming crop, hazmat's not something that's been around. And I think the lithium ion batteries is bringing a new interest to hazmat. I think more of the environmental awareness that we're doing so much better at is becoming more of awareness. And I think we're going to be playing a little catch up for a while.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Very good. Any other questions? Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right, next, police, chief.
Good evening. So we had National Night Out at the beginning of August, which was a partnership between us and the Upper Arlington Police Department for the first time. That was a great event. We had several officers up there with also K-9 Hank. The community relations up there was really great, and the experience was good, and we think that will expand even more next year. We have also started our training for our new computer-aided dispatch system and the partnership with the other 4 agencies that we've taken that under with. And there was a small snag in implementation for that due to some of the other agencies and a specific module that they're using, but that we're not using here. So we're just waiting until they get that fully online, and we'll be able to hopefully implement that now in mid-November. Additional training, Sergeant Cohill started today a career development and leadership academy. That is a 3-week-long course spread out over 3 months. So it's a week each month that will help her in 19 different modules related to ethics, media relations, certain critical incidents, other subject matter that's very critical to law enforcement supervisors. So we're excited for her to start that. Officer Motz is nearing the end of his field training program and doing rather well. The reports on him are great. And soon-to-be Officer Colin Bryce has 1 month left in the police academy. I actually met with him today, and he is progressing extremely well. Looks great, and says he feels great, and he says his training with the Westerville Police Academy has been a great experience for him. So we're excited for him to graduate next month and get him on the street here. As far as activity goes, we had several assaults this month. I'm actually proud to say that every single one of them resulted in accountability for the individuals that were responsible for those. One of them was a very disturbing sexual assault case, and that individual has been charged with rape. And the victim on that was a minor child, but I also want to express that the suspect was known to the family. Not that that makes it any better, but this was not a stranger crime. Okay, so that this was somebody that was known and had access to the child. Other assaults was we had a strangulation down on Palmer Road where the officers were able to take that individual into custody, as well as 2 other low-level assaults, misdemeanor assaults, and both of those individuals were arrested as well. So Hank is doing great on the street. We're getting a lot of narcotics off the roadways and out of the community. While our service runs are slightly down for this time of year, arrests are almost doubled from the previous month. So they're more serious crimes. But the officers are doing a great job getting those individuals into custody and holding them responsible. The last thing is I do want to highlight a letter that was in your packet that we received from AEP in response to the actions of several of our officers and a breaking and entering that was at AEP on Goodale Boulevard. Sergeant Cohill, Officer Hayes, Officer Gratial, and Officer Fannin all did an amazing job with several suspects that fled the scene as soon as they arrived, and they were able to apprehend 3 of those individuals. They brought in a U-Haul truck to steal large copper spools, and they were apprehended very, very quickly, and they did a great job on that. Officer Gratial had to hop 2 fences and these are tall fences. So I will give her kudos for that. She did a great job, as well as the other officers that were assisting on that. It was a very quick response and great teamwork on their part. And just last night, we had another incident with a foot pursuit, and somebody was trying to hide in the river from us, but we managed to get that person in custody as well. So a lot of great work from our patrol officers. I'm very pleased with their performance out in the field, and the citizens should be happy with their performance as well. So I'm willing to take any questions that you may have.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for the chief? No? All right, thank you both.
Very
Of course,
much.
you're welcome to stay, but you are excused. One of these days, I will get you to stay the whole time.
If you're gonna stay, stay for this one. It's pretty quick. Then you get credit.
All right, we will move on. Finance,
Credit.
Director Miller.
Yes, I submitted my report. This month, we had the second half real estate settlement, so we receive real estate taxes twice a year. I provided some information in the report on that. That includes pilots that we get, and so our biggest pot of pilots is Grandview Yard, and all of those funds are distributed to the school district and the bond trustee and the library. So that has occurred in August. We also had the Tax Incentive Review Council meeting downtown at the courthouse. Council will have a resolution asking you to accept their recommendations. That'll be either the next meeting or the first meeting in October. In my report, I did provide some information just to give you a refresher, because you don't have to deal with these a lot, of what our existing CRA agreements are, and then some of the property tax abatements that are coming up, because a lot of the Grandview Yard, we're hitting 15 years, and so some of those abatements are now falling off. So I included that in my report just to give you a refresher of where we are on some of those. That's all I have, but I'll take any questions.
Sure. For our many listening audience, or folks online, could you just give a brief overview of what pilots are?
Pilots are payments in lieu of taxes. So properties that are in a TIF pay the same amount as if they weren't in the TIF, but the portion that relates to the increase in their value is called payments in lieu of taxes, and that's put into a special pot that is used usually for infrastructure or something to support economic development and to increase the value in the area. So for Grandview Yard, all the properties down there are in a TIF, and that money just goes in this separate pot. And we have agreements then with the school district to give them a share, and then a share also goes to pay for the infrastructure down there, the roads, the sewer, the water lines, all of those types of things.
Great, thank you. All right, moving on, City Attorney, Director Kuzam.
I have submitted my report and would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Director Kuzam? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business item number 1.
Resolution 27-2025, a resolution accepting financial assistance from the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation Safety and Invention Grant to apply to the purchase of equipment for the Parks and Recreation Department.
Thank you. Councilmember Houston or Director Miller?
Do you want to speak first, Director Miller? Would you like me to?
You can.
I just know the basics of this one, that we are accepting a grant fund to buy these scrubbers for the floor that are supposed to prevent accidents and incidents for our workforce.
For our maintenance staff, these will hopefully prevent injury. We have a brand new building with lots of concrete floors, so we're going to receive 3 of these units. One will be on the first floor of the new City Hall, one will be on the second floor, and then one will be in the new Parks building. So the total cost is $15,000, and the grant is gonna cover almost $12,000 of that.
Thank you. Any questions, discussion?
I did
Yes.
have a question. Is this a grant we've received before?
Yes. This is a grant. Usually there's a certain amount of money that's out there for the city for, I forget, maybe 3 or 4 years. And I think the last time we got it might have been something for the fire department. And it's just ways to help keep your employees safer, for them to buy equipment that makes their jobs less conducive to injury. So yeah, it probably sounds familiar to you. I think we had a fire department one last year.
And so you could apply for it every year?
Yes.
I was talking with someone, a resident who's lived here a long time, at the farmer's market, we have a Columbus recycling guy who comes once a month, and he was engaging him, and then he didn't know about our totes, the blue totes, which I was surprised by, so I got into a conversation about how the little buggies now have, on some of them, we had that in the budget for this year, and was it $14,000 a piece on those? I don't remember what.
14 or 18, yeah.
Okay. But he mentioned, because he's worked in government a long time, that that is a safety, that could lower our workers' comp rates by having those, but anyhow, I never shared that before, but seeing this legislation made me wonder if the grant could be used to buy more of those, because I don't know that we got enough, or we just had the 3. I don't know how many buggies are out there.
Yes, we've purchased, I think, 3 or 4, and then we have a couple more in our plan, in our capital plan, to get all of our buggies equipped with those. It's definitely a possibility for a grant. For that grant, we have not applied for it, but yeah, it would be a possible. I don't know if they want it to be a new initiative to kind of see, or if we could use it for something like that, but that's something we can look into for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Any other questions, discussion, motions?
Move to approve?
Thank you, that's motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Walker. Clerk, please call the roll.
Houston,
Yes.
Bozak,
Yes.
Panzera,
Yes.
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Weiss is excused, President Keeler.
Yes.
Resolution 27-2025 is approved.
Thank you. New business item number 2.
Resolution 28-2025, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Franklin County Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Thank you. Vice President Smith?
Director Miller could probably better articulate this, but this is basically, we do this every year. It's housekeeping by and large. We had the tax hearing this past summer with our tax estimates, with the levies that we have, and the levy, and how much money we generated to fund the government, and then is submitted to the tax commission. Tax commission has certified the amounts, and we're accepting those estimates. Director Miller, you want to elaborate more on that?
Yes, that's exactly right. The first step is our tax budget, which we typically do in May or June. We submit that to the county saying, yes, we need property taxes this year. The Budget Commission comes together and they figure out exactly how much in taxes we receive, and then this resolution is just saying, yes, please levy those taxes for us next year.
Very good. Any discussion? Motions?
I move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
That's a motion by Councilmember Smith and a second by Councilmember Panzera. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bozak,
Yes.
Panzera,
Yes.
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
President Keeler.
Yes.
Resolution 28-2025 is approved.
Thank you. New business item number 4.
Number 3,
Sorry, 3.
Resolution 29-2025, a resolution authorizing the city of Grandview Heights to pursue lease financing for the acquisition of a sanitation truck.
Thank you. Vice President Smith?
Yeah, we were going to purchase this next year. It's a lease agreement where we make payments to Huntington, and eventually we own the service truck. The primary reason why we would purchase it this year is because we've been communicated that they communicated with us that there'll be a $20,000 to $30,000 increase if we purchase it next year through the lease agreement, and there'll be no debt that's incurred this year. It would start next year.
Great. Thank you. So just to clarify, this is something we already had in our capital budget. We're just moving it up by about 6 months, and we wouldn't pay it till next year anyway, so we can put it in the budget. Great. Any other questions?
Ask a
Yes,
question?
Councilmember
just-
Houston?
Thank you. Asking to understand, the lease for 3 years and then owning, is that more cost effective than buying it outright? I mean, it's obviously better for our cash flow situation, I'm sure, than buying it all at once, but just wondering the cost differential with the lease versus buying outright.
We would pay interest of about 35 grand. We typically it's called a lease. It's different than if you were to lease a vehicle. It's more of a financing tool that Huntington calls a lease. At the
Okay.
end of the 5 years, we own the vehicle. So it's basically just a financing of a vehicle.
Okay.
And we do that,
I was
we have
curious
done
though.
it historically for vehicles that are over $1,000, or $100,000.
Because of that, yeah, price
Yeah,
tag.
for the
Okay.
cash flows primarily, because our capital budget is often so tight, it allows us to kind of draw it out over several years. And typically, we have a garbage truck for, 10 to 15 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kozak, you had a question?
I did, and is this the same amount that was in the capital budget, the 255,000, or?
I think it's similar to what it would have been next year.
Okay. And then what do you do with the vehicle? What happens with an older vehicle? Do we sell that back to someone?
Typically, we sell them on Gov Deals.
Auctions.
Okay.
Occasionally, we'll do a trade-in on certain vehicles, but usually we can get a good amount on Gov Deals, and so it's auctioned online.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Walker, you had a question?
Just real quick, I think you kind of covered it, but just to clarify. So it's different, like for an individual that would lease a car, at the end, they might have to have a payment, a final payment. This is just stretched out, so there's no final larger payment at the end, right? Okay.
Exactly.
We've done this historically over, when the product is available, and Huntington's been very favorable for us in terms of rates, so it balances out the cash flow. I don't know what our rate is this time around, but it's been extremely favorable in several iterations of the past, that it's not, we're better off leveling out those payments over the 60-month term instead of taking one hit. Gives us more flexibility to apply that for unknown needs over the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Plus, buying it now is a savings, so you'll
Yeah.
recoup some of that
Yeah.
cost.
20 to 30,000.
20 to 30,000. It's a lot of money. All right. Any further discussion, questions, motions?
Move for approval.
Second.
That's a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Panzera?
Yes.
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Kozak?
Yes.
President Keeler?
Yes.
Resolution 29-2025 is approved.
Thank you. Now, new business item number 4.
Ordinance 2025-09, an ordinance to approve supplemental appropriations for the city of Grandview Heights for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025.
Thank you. Vice President Smith?
Yeah, this is a supplemental for $2,030,000. There's Director Miller can elaborate more, but a couple of things. Police and fire are getting appropriated money for some overtime, and a lot of this is pass-through money, in particular the TIFs and the JED-Z money just being passed through. But Director Miller, if you want to go ahead and give a quick summary.
Yes, as Chris shared, police and fire, we've had several extended leaves. When you're a small department, that creates a lot of overtime, so we have some overtime needs in both police and fire. And Chief Stearns talked about the computer-aided dispatching, that everybody has to be trained on that. So that's a lot of extra training as well. And with the new building coming online and new systems there, there's also additional training in addition to some of the extended leave. The bulk of this $2 million, $1.7 million of it is the Grandview Yard TIF. This is money that will be passed through to the debt trustees. So the group that sold the bonds to pay for all the streets and the infrastructure there. We have to estimate what we think the pilots might be. So right now I'm estimating for next year, and then we do a true up after we get the second half settlement to say, okay, this is exactly what we got, so this is how we need to adjust the budget. So that's a budget adjustment. That money we received it in, and we're gonna pay it all out. Then the next line item is $165,000 for this JEDZ CETA. Again, that's money that came in through our JEDZ income tax that gets passed through straight to the township. So that's really just an in and out. It's not additional dollars that are coming out of the coffers. And then the final one is the water improvement fund. Every year we budget about $50,000 for water valve replacement. We're just, we need some funds for the actual engineering portion of that project.
I forgot that last one.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments or thoughts? No? Okay, we will record that as a first reading and assign that to finance. Okay, that brings us to other business. I do not believe we have any other business. Next, we have comments from council members. Any comments?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozak.
I know that you all with the department heads are talking budget right now, and I wanted to make the request again that I brought up back in maybe March, that because that is the primary function of council to pass the budget, that we could be included in some of those discussions. And then I wanted to bring up some things that I know are important to me for the budget for next year and to find out where we are. Director Miller, I'd asked a while back about the solar panels on the municipal building. I know we're getting the ones on the carport behind it, and you had said that that was in a list of alternates, and back in May you decided to wait and not do the solar panels on top of the building, although the infrastructure's there.
May of 2024, yeah.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
then,
Yeah.
what would the cost be for that, and is that something that you're looking at for our budget for this upcoming year?
I will have to look at the bid docs to see if, I don't know exactly what the cost of that is. And then maybe Adam wants to talk more about the capital. I mean, we're just now starting those discussions.
Yeah, we were looking to do something a little bit different. At least I proposed it and talked to Director Miller and Mayor Kearns, and we were going to communicate more of this as we got into the budget process, but having a retreat of sorts or some strategic conversation early next year on all of capital so that some value judgments could be made on the limited amount of capital funds and what the wish list is. So it could potentially be part of that conversation, or as Director Miller said, we could look up at that pricing, which certainly would have changed in the last several months, if not over a year, since that alternate was bid into the project.
And then what was the plan once that was it taken off the list as an alternate? Was there a future plan? Did you have that scheduled for some future time?
No, I don't believe that we had. No, I mean, there are a number of alternates that were not accepted, so there wasn't a future plan at that time. We were looking at the entire budget of the building and were concerned about the finances at that point, so we took it out. But no, it wasn't put in our capital plan at all, so there isn't currently a plan. But as Adam said, we can discuss that. And
Yeah, I would encourage for council members, if you have specific line items that you're interested in, to reach out to administration to discuss that as they're working on the budget, and it might be a line item that we could discuss when they bring the entire budget as individual items that council members have brought forward and how that might fit into the budget. But we do go through the budget process when the administration brings the budget forward, so we do get a chance to discuss the budget.
It's just a lot. It's bam, bam, bam. And there's a lot of material there, and those 3 meetings, and we had the maybe 2 committee meetings. It's just a lot to absorb, and council should be able to weigh in on things we would like to see.
Absolutely, and that's, so I would encourage individual members to reach out to administration. Yes, Councilmember Houston.
Do we have a sense of when the timeline will start, if it'll be early November, late October, just to kind of prepare for that?
well, I have finance meets with the departments this month. So those are all scheduled in September. And then the next step is meeting with, then each of the departments along with finance will meet with the mayor and director of administration in October.
Okay, and then will come to council in November.
Correct. In November, typically, it'll be the first meeting in November.
I think,
Yes.
if I may, my
Yes.
perspective is even if we had, and this is maybe for a recommendation for Councilmember Smith, that will be in your purview to schedule the finance meetings, even if we plan to have maybe an extra one, maybe from what we did last year. My recollection was we had a couple meetings to be able to go through things and process, and maybe last year was a bit more streamlined, which is obviously beneficial from an efficiency perspective, but we just maybe don't have as much time to get into the details.
So historically, we do one finance meeting for the operating budget and one for the capitals.
Yes,
Is what we
I
historically
agree.
done.
And my recollection was last year that we mashed those up together into one meeting, but I could be wrong. That's just my recollection.
Yeah,
Thought we had two, but.
I believe we
I
had
thought,
two.
yeah, I
council
do
meetings
believe
and
we
two
had two, but what I'm saying is that we went over both, I thought, in the first meeting, and then we had a second discussion, as opposed to having one meeting per budget, if that makes sense. But I can look back at my notes.
We had separate legislation for them. I think we had 2 committee meetings and 3 council meetings, was my recollection.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is there wasn't one meeting per budget, where in the past we had separated them out and had one meeting dedicated to operating budget, one meeting dedicated to capital.
All right, thank you for that feedback, and I believe the finance chair has heard that, and we can discuss that further about how to enhance that communication around the budget, for sure.
Can I ask one
Yes.
question? I think it's great that you mentioned the strategic planning. Is that something, though, you're thinking about doing, like, after this budget is handled, it would be in the, did you say in the beginning of the next year?
That's what I was thinking. Again, that's my newness to the organization, but that this process is the one that you followed for several years. It seems to work well, and the thought was that would give more time to assemble some of that information with recommendations from our engineering team, and then advise council next year on what those recommendations are, and then have more of a conversation around, this is the pot of money, and these are all of the great needs in any community, and how we match those up. So it would not be part of this process this fall, but rather getting ahead of it for next year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, maybe that would be a topic of council retreat, is looking at something like that, so. Yes, Councilmember Kozak.
And I was wondering if you could give us updates on like the hotel in the Grandview Crossing and also new tenants in the yard. I went to a zone-in meeting down at the Grandview Crossing, and I had talked with one of the developers who said they were having, like, this was weeks, maybe a month already ago, but that within this month, they were having some conversations regarding the hotel and a grocery store there, but maybe I don't know.
I will speak to that. We've had conversations with them probably every quarter since I started as mayor about this. And so
Okay.
they'll let us know when they're coming forward.
Okay, he made it sound like it was eminent, but okay.
Sure. And that's, I mean, that's kind of how the development process works, is they keep telling you they're coming, and then when it's ready, they'll come forward.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, I heard that too, probably every couple of months since
Okay.
it got built. So, deals fall through or lines are changed for whatever reason. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing that when it comes though.
And then the Heritage Trail, I saw it was mentioned in one of the director's reports, and I wondered,
No update.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other council comments? No? Okay. Well, with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.